Captain Elias Mercer stood at the edge of the balcony, watching the stars pass slowly outside the clear dome of the Solace Arc, the largest diplomatic space station in the known galaxy. Earth had sent its best. He was one of them. He wore a black, ceremonial uniform with silver trim, freshly pressed, uncomfortable around the neck. Across from him, a dozen alien dignitaries in floating robes or glittering armor whispered in languages both spoken and telepathic. And in the center of it all stood Princess Virea. She was stunning. Her skin was pale blue, glowing faintly like moonlight. Her eyes shimmered with shifting colors like a pool of oil on water. Her hair flowed like a liquid veil down her back. Every motion she made was graceful, calculated. She smiled at Elias, a gentle, careful smile. Not love. Not yet, but peace. Hope. They were married 30 minutes later. The wedding was part of an agreement. A treaty. Earth had fought hard to reach this point. For centuries, humanity had been ignored by the great powers of the galaxy. Too young, too warlike, too primitive. But humans had surprised the galaxy. They spread fast, colonized harsh worlds, survived where others had failed. They didn't have the strongest ships or the oldest technology, but they endured. And now, Earth had been offered something rare, a seat in the Stellar Concord, the ruling body of the galaxy. But the condition was unusual, a royal marriage. Between Elias Mercer, war hero of the Mars frontier, and Princess Vera of the Solari Dominion. Everyone said it was just politics. A symbol, a face for the news reports. But Elias knew something was strange from the beginning. Vera hadn't resisted the marriage. In fact, she had chosen him. Later that evening, after endless toasts and formal speeches, Elias walked through the quiet halls of the Ark toward his temporary quarters. The corridors were silent. Security drones floated by like silver ghosts. Lights hummed gently overhead. He arrived at the grand suite. The doors opened automatically. Inside, soft golden light lit the chamber. There were flowers from multiple planets, some glowing, some gently singing. The bed was wide enough for 3 people. A low table held 2 cups of steaming blue liquid. And there by the window stood Vera. She had changed out of her royal gown and now wore a simple silver robe. Her hair was tied back, her eyes unreadable. "You look tense," she said. Elias smiled faintly. "Just tired. It's been a strange day." Vera tilted her head. "Stranger days are coming." She gestured for him to sit. He joined her on a long couch, and they sat in silence for a few moments, watching the stars. "I appreciate your patience," she said at last. "This is not an easy situation for either of us." "I knew what I signed up for," Elias replied. Earth needed someone who could handle strange politics and stranger people. "I volunteered." "You're not what I expected," she said. "Disappointed?" "No," she said quietly. "Curious." They drank together. The liquid was warm and tasted like a mix of honey and sea salt. Elias wasn't sure if it was alcoholic or not. He didn't care. Then Vera stood and walked to the center of the room. "There is something I must show you," she said. "Something no one else has seen." Elias straightened. "Now, yes," she said. Her voice had changed, deeper now, more serious. "You do not know who I really am. The Solari. We are shapeshifters. But even that is a lie, a mask within a mask." She looked back at him. "I chose you, Elias Mercer, because I believe. Your species might be the last hope this galaxy has. But to know why, you must see the truth." "All right," he said slowly. "I'm listening." She took a deep breath. The lights in the room dimmed. The walls seemed to pulse with a quiet hum. And then she'd change it. It didn't happen with a flash. There was no dramatic effect. One moment Vera stood before him as the perfect alien princess, tall, elegant, otherworldly. The next moment, her form began to melt, to ripple, like heat above a flame. Her skin peeled away, not with blood but like silk drifting off a hidden shape. Her hair dissolved into mist. Her limbs twisted, grew longer, more delicate. Her colors, deepened into dark purples, shifting into black and silver, and then she was something else, a being of shifting light and shadow, a creature made of geometry and liquid motion. Her eyes were now stars. Her voice echoed, not just in the room, but in his mind. "I am not Solari," she said. Elias felt no fear, only awe. "What are you?" "I am Shalak H. She said we were the first. Born before time was measured, before your sun had formed." "That's impossible," Elias whispered. "Many things are," she replied. "We disappeared from the records by design. The stellar concord fears us. Even the Solari who adopted me as a child do not know what I truly am." Elias stood up slowly. His heart beat faster, but he kept his voice calm. "Why tell me this now? Because everything is about to change? The Concord is not what it seems, and your people, your strange, wild people, may be the only ones who can survive what's coming." She stepped forward. Though she was no longer humanoid, there was still something warm in her presence. "You looked at me and you didn't flinch," she said. "I was trained not to flinch." "No," she said. "That was honesty. I saw it. You don't fear. Me, you wonder. You question. And that is what I need." "What happens next?" Elias asked. "That depends on you," Vera said softly. "You can reject this, walk away, say nothing, and we will go on with the charade. Or you stand with me and learn the truth." Elias looked at the creature before him, not human, not anything close. But still, he saw no malice in her eyes, no cold calculation, just loneliness and hope. He took a breath. "All right, princess, show me the truth." She smiled, or did something like it. The stars outside the window seemed to pulse brighter, and in that moment, Elias Mercer knew, his marriage had just become the most important alliance in the galaxy. Elias Mercer didn't sleep that night. After Vera showed him her true form, his mind stayed awake, sharp, racing. He had seen many strange things during his military years, but this was different. Vera wasn't just another alien. She was something ancient, something the galaxy had tried to forget. She called herself Shalak, and now she had trusted him with a secret no one else knew. The next morning, Elias stood in front of the tall window in their private suite. He stared at the stars outside, sipping black coffee made by the Orcs food module. His hands were steady, but his thoughts were spinning. Behind him, Viria walked in. Today she looked like her usual Solari self, a graceful, glowing, perfect. The strange being he had seen last night was hidden once more, like a mask placed back over truth. "I hope you slept," she said. Elias shook his head. "Not really." Virea gave a small smile. "Understandable." Elias turned to face her. "I've seen wars. I've seen people burn entire colonies to stop invasions. But I've never seen something that felt outside of time." "You saw a glimpse," Vera said. "Only a fraction of what I truly am." He studied her. "Said the stellar concord fears your kind." "Why?" Vera walked to the couch and sat down slowly. "Because long ago, before the Concord ruled, the galaxy was full of powerful species. Some of them created suns, others shaped gravity. My kind Shalak could see into the threads of time, not to control it, but to understand it." Elias sat across from her. "What happened?" "Fear," she said. "When the first Concord was formed, the Zarin, those insect-like beings who control most of the council now, they feared anything they could not predict. The Shalakth were impossible to control, so the Concord made up a lie that we were unstable, dangerous, that our power would destroy the galaxy. People believed it." "They always do," she said with sadness. Elias leaned forward. "So why reveal yourself to me?" "Because I've been watching humanity," she replied. "You're strange to us. Unpredictable. Wild. You change faster than any species I've seen. You don't have the strongest technology, but you adapt. You think sideways." She paused, her voice softer, and you feel deeply, even in chaos. "You keep moving." Elias raised an eyebrow. "That's not always a good thing, but it's something we need." He didn't speak for a moment. Then he said, "You think humans can fight the Concorde?" "I think humans might survive what's coming," she corrected. "The Concorde has grown too powerful. They silence species, erase history. Their peace is a lie built on fear." She leaned closer. "And now they're planning something worse." Later that day, Varia took Elias through a secret route beneath the Ark's diplomatic decks. The walls here were older, built during the station's original construction centuries ago. "Few use this path anymore. We don't have long," she said. "If someone detected my shift last night, they'll come for me." "Can they detect that, if they're watching closely?" They reached a hidden chamber, sealed by a living Dora structure made from a half-organic material that responded only to Vera's touch. Inside was a small chamber filled with glowing symbols and ancient data scrolls written in a language Elias couldn't read. "This is a Shalakth memory vault," she explained. "I've kept it hidden for years." She activated a floating orb in the center. Holograms lit the room, star charts, timelines, symbols of war, destruction. "What is this?" Elias asked. "A pattern," Virea said. "Every few centuries, the Concorde cleans the galaxy. Species that grow too fast or ask too many questions are erased. Quietly, no trials, no war, just removal." Elias clenched his jaw. "Genocide, yes." Vera pointed to a flashing red star on the map. "This is your solar system." Elias felt his blood run cold. "They've marked Earth. They always do it the same way," Vera said. "But first offer peace, then watch. If you don't fall in line, they bring destruction." "Why now?" "'Cause you joined too fast. You grew too bold. Your people don't fear them the way others do." Elias took a slow breath. "How long do we have?" "A few months, maybe less." They returned to their suite just before sunset cycle. The halls were quiet again. But something felt off. 2 guards stood near their door, Concorde security officers, wearing golden armor and blank expressions. "Inspection," one said, stepping forward. "Routine check." Virea raised an eyebrow. "We weren't informed." "Apologies, Princess." "Orders from the central watchtower." Elias stepped beside her. "We have nothing to hide." They let the guards in. Inspection was quick but too careful. The guards touched every surface. They scanned the windows. One of them paused near the wall where Vera had changed form the night before. Elias watched him closely. "You looking for something?" "What?" he asked. "No," the guard replied. But his voice was too flat. When they finally left, Vera looked uneasy. "They know," she whispered. "Or they suspect. What do we do?" "We run," she said. That night they prepared quickly. Vera contacted someone through an encrypted signal, someone she trusted in the outer colonies. Meanwhile, Elias packed light basic gear. "Old weapons? A comlink only used in Black Ops?" "Where are we going?" he asked. "To a Silvery moon," she replied. "One no longer on maps. A place where something was buried." "Long ago, what? A truth even the Shalakth H feared?" Elias looked at her steady. "You're not the only one who can keep secrets." Vera smiled faintly. "I believe that." They left through a maintenance tunnel during night. Cycle. The station slept, but security drones still floated by every few minutes. Elias led the way, disabling sensors, using his old Earthfleet codes to pass unseen. Virea followed in silence. When they reached the hangar, a small private cruiser waited, one that belonged to her family but hadn't been used in years. The doors opened. Elias took the pilot seat. "Let's see what the stars want to tell us," he muttered. The ship launched quietly, slipping through the Ark's defense net, using codes Vera had stored in her DNA. In minutes, they were vanishing into hyperspace. Inside the ship, Elias looked back at her. "You trusted me fast," he said. Vieira met his gaze. "I didn't choose you for your medals, Captain Mercer. I chose you because when I looked through the timelines, you were the one variable I couldn't explain." Elias blinked. "Is that good or bad?" "It's hope," she said. Then she looked away, voice almost a whisper. "I just hope I was right." The ship hummed softly as it flew through hyperspace. Outside the windows, streaks of blue and silver light stretched endlessly across the dark. Elias sat in the pilot seat, checking the navigation system. Vera stood behind him, watching. The route. How far is this moon? He asked. 8 jumps, she said. It doesn't appear on most maps anymore. The Concorde erased its record after the last purge. Elias frowned. Why? Vera's eyes shimmered. Because something ancient sleeps there. Something that remembers the first war between the Shalak and the Concorde. Elias leaned back. So you're taking me to a hidden world full of forgotten weapons? She shook her head. Not weapons. Memories and warnings. They jumped again and again through different star systems. No one followed, not yet. After nearly 2 days of silent travel, the stars around them changed. The computer beeped softly. Arriving. At destination, it announced. Ahead, a dim, rocky moon floated in the orbit of a cold gas giant. The moon looked dead, cracked, lifeless. No cities, Elias noted. No structures. They're buried, Vera said. You'll see. As they descended, strange symbols flickered on the navigation screen, ghost signals like forgotten beacons buried deep underground. The ship landed on a wide plateau near a tall ridge of black stone. A thin atmosphere covered the moon just enough to breathe with basic gear. Virea handed Elias a dark cloak and mask. She wore one too, covering her glowing skin. No one must know who they were. Not yet. They stepped out together into the cold. Quiet wind. The surface of the moon was silent. No animals, no movement, just dust and broken stone. Virea led the way to a narrow path between jagged cliffs. She walked like someone returning home. This moon was called Threxel once. She said softly. Long ago, it was the heart of the first resistance against the Concorde. Elias followed, scanning the area. What happened to them? They lost, she said. But they didn't vanish. They hid. They sealed their memories inside the stone and waited. They reached a strange formation, 3 tall pillars, standing like fingers. Between them, the ground shimmered faintly. Not light, not shadow, something in between. Vera touched the stone. It rippled and then opened. Beneath, the surface was a vast underground chamber, carved from black crystal. It pulsed with slow blue light. Strange shapes floated in the air like frozen thoughts, hovering just out of reach. Elias stepped in, stunned. It's a vault, Vera said, but not like the one on the Ark. This one was built by Shalak's survivors. After the purge, Elias looked around. How many survived? Not many. She walked to a central platform and activated a control panel by placing her hand into it. The air shimmered. Then images began to appear. Not video, not hologram. Memories. Elias saw them. War. Huge ships burning through stars. Creatures of pure energy fleeing from Concorde drones. Entire species begging for help, then silenced. Then, finally, a meeting. Hidden, quiet. A group of survivors, not soldiers, historians, scientists, wanderers. They didn't plan to fight. They planned to remember. Elias watched them seal these memories into the moon's crystal heart, so that one day someone would find them again. Someone who would care. The Concorde is lying to the galaxy, Vera said. They say peace, but they fear change, so they erase it. Over and over. And now, it's Earth's turn, Elias said quietly. She nodded. He took a deep breath. So what do we do now, Vera? Turned toward him. Her eyes glowed with soft light. We show the galaxy the truth. Elias narrowed his eyes. How? She touched the crystal floor. A second memory chamber opened. Inside an orb, dark, silent, floating gently above the pedestal. What's that? Elias asked. An echo core, Vera said. It holds the memories you saw, pure, unedited. Real? Can we transmit it? We can broadcast it? But only once. The Concorde will trace the signal. They'll come for us immediately. Elias stared at the orb. If we show this to the galaxy, everything changes. Yes, we'll be hunted. Yes. Elias stepped closer to the orb. Then we choose where to make our stand. That night, in the safety of the moon's hidden chambers, Elias couldn't sleep. Again he sat beside the orb, staring into it. Faint images moved across its surface. Faces, planets, light and flame. Virea walked over and sat beside him. "Do you regret marrying me?" she asked quietly. Elias looked at her. "No." She smiled. "You know," he said, "the day I was picked for this marriage, my friend said I was being sold to space politics, that I'd die of boredom. And now?" she asked. He looked around the glowing chamber. "I think this is the most alive I've ever felt." She reached out and touched his hand. He didn't pull away. The next morning, they prepared for their next move. They couldn't transmit the echo core from the moon. The Concorde would block or erase the signal. They needed a public place. Strong signal. "We need a neutral broadcast tower," Elias said. "One not owned by the Concorde." "There is one," Virea replied. "On Yensora, a trading planet. Old, lawless, and noisy. But its signals can't be jammed. Not yet. Will they help us? They don't help anyone. But if we move fast, we can send the message before anyone stops us." They packed the echo core into a sealed vault. Bria sent a secure message to an old contact, her pirate queen, who owed her a favor. "Your friends are colorful," Elias said. "You married?" "Into chaos," she replied with a wink. They left Threxel just before Concorde patrols appeared in the system. Someone had noticed their ship missing from the Ark. Or maybe someone had talked. As they jumped into hyperspace, alarms echoed briefly. "In the distance, they're coming," Elias said. "Then we better move fast." Yensora wasn't a beautiful world. It was loud, hot, and full of strange smells. The sky was always red from pollution. Streets were packed with traders, mercenaries, alien smugglers, and outlaws. It was the kind of place where credits talked, lies walked, and nobody asked too many questions. Perfect for a mission that could start a galactic rebellion. Elias and Lyria stepped out of their hidden ship onto a landing pad surrounded by rusted towers. Their disguises were simple. Dark travel robes, face masks, and cloaks. No jewelry, no royal symbols. Just two more nameless people in a city of secrets. Veredas. Han never left the case that carried the echo core. "Your contact, can we trust?" "Her," Elias asked, watching the streets with sharp eyes. "Jera won't help for free," Verea replied. "But she hates the Concorde more than most. And what's her price? She wants proof that the Concorde's piece is fake. Then she'll get more than she asked for." Jera's base was deep inside the lower levels of Yensora, maze of dark tunnels and neon lights. Music boomed from illegal clubs. Drones floated above rooftops, watching. And everywhere, people moved like shadows, armed, alert, dangerous. They entered a narrow alley where a wall slid open. A scanner passed over them. Then a voice crackled from a hidden speaker. "Name the password." "Starlight." Vera stepped forward. Revenge sleeps with open eyes. The door opened with a metallic hiss. Inside was a long hall lit by red lamps. At the end stood Jera, tall woman with silver skin and bright yellow eyes. Half her face was cybernetic. Her cloak was made from the scales of some alien beast. "Well, well," she said, smiling. "If it isn't the lost little princess of Sillery." "I need access to the tower," Vera said without delay. Jera raised one brow. "The old tower. That place hasn't worked properly in years. You only need one clean transmission. One broadcast. That's all." Jera stepped closer, looking at Elias. "And who's the human?" "Captain Elias Mercer," Verea replied. "He's the reason we're still alive." Jera studied Elias for a moment, then nodded. "He looks useful." "He is." Jera laughed. "Fine. I'll get you into the tower. But once the Concorde sees what you're doing, they'll burn you from orbit." "We know," Elias said. "We just need 10 minutes. Jera snapped her fingers. "And let's make those 10 minutes count." The tower stood like a broken finger, pointing at the sky. It was once the most powerful comm station in the Outer Rim, used to send emergency calls across star systems. But now, it was abandoned, half-broken, and mostly forgotten. Perfect. ZH era Scrooves, quotes courted Elias and Vera through underground routes. The city above them stayed noisy, but down here, it was quiet and tense, as Yera. They reached the base of the tower. Jira handed Elias a small box. "Shield disruptor," she said. "Use it if the Concord sends a drone strike." Elias nodded. Jira gave a crooked smile. "Don't die too fast. I want to see how this story ends." Then she was gone. Inside the tower, Viria found the old control room. Dust coated every surface. The power flickered. Elias activated the systems one by one, using old Earth fleet tech tricks to bypass corrupted software. "You've done this before," Viria noted. "I used to crash pirate feeds on Mars," he said. "Not so different." They placed the Echo Core into the center console. It lit up. A soft hum filled the tower. Lights came alive. The screens glowed with ancient star maps and forgotten signals. "Are we live?" Vera asked. Elias smiled. "We're about to speak to half the galaxy." They activated the broadcast. Across hundreds of star systems, thousands of stations, millions of ships, and outposts, the signal went out. No password, no firewall, no filter, just truth. The images played. Concord ships attacking peaceful colonies. Shalak beings being hunted, destroyed, erased. Evidence of worlds silenced. Whole species gone. Not because of war, but because they refused to obey. Then came the final words, recorded by Elias and Vera together. "This is not peace. This is not order. This is fear wrapped in silence. We remember. We will not be silent anymore." For a few seconds after the broadcast, the tower went quiet. Then all hell broke loose. Concord dreadnoughts appeared above Yenzora within minutes. Their arrival wasn't quiet or diplomatic. They came in with full 4 ships the size of cities, glowing with weapons, blocking the sky. The city below panicked. Sirens wailed. Traders ran. Smugglers vanished into the dark. But high above it all, the tower still stood. Inside, Elias activated the jammer field. "Shields up," he said. "We've got 5 minutes at most. We need to get to the ship," Viria said, "before they block escape routes." Elias nodded, but he looked out the window at the sky. "They'll destroy this tower. Let them. The message is already out." As they ran down the tower stairs, explosions rocked the city. One of the Concord cruisers began targeting communications towers, wiping them out with high-energy blasts. But it was too late. Millions had already seen the truth. Reactions were pouring in outraged voices, shocked ambassadors, even resistance groups long thought dead. The Concord had overreached. Now the galaxy was watching. Back in the alley, Jira met them with 2 hoverbikes. "Go now," she shouted. "Your ship's waiting in the west yard. But they've blocked the sky lanes. You'll have to fly low." Elias and Viria jumped onto the bikes and sped through the chaos. Explosions lit the streets. Concord drones dropped from the sky, scanning for them. At one point, 3 drones chased them through a broken bridge. Elias tossed a disruptor mine behind him. The explosion lit up the night and sent sparks flying. "You having fun yet?" he shouted. "Not the word I'd use," Vera replied. They reached the west yard just as their ship activated. It rose from a hidden tunnel, already powered up. Guerra's crew had done their job well, but a Concord gunship spotted them at the last second. It fired. The blast missed, but the shockwave knocked Elias sideways. He hit the ground hard. Vera skidded beside him and helped him up. "You okay?" "I've had worse," he muttered. They jumped into the ship. Elias took the controls. Virea sealed the doors. "Brace," he shouted. The ship shot upward. Fast. Low. Dodging lasers. Avoiding scanners behind them, Yensora burned. But above them, stars were wide open again. Hours later, far from Concord space, the ship rested in quiet orbit around a small asteroid. Elias and Virea sat side by side, silent. Then the news came. A message played from the holoscreen. To all known systems, a formal investigation has begun into the Concord Council's actions. Multiple planets have demanded a public hearing. The Echo Core data has been confirmed as real. The galaxy is changing. Elias leaned back. We did it? Vera looked at him. No, you did it. Without you, I would have stayed silent, hidden. He smiled. Then I guess it's good we got married. She laughed quietly. The best political decision I've ever made. But peace didn't return that easily. The Concord was wounded but not dead, and in dark places of the galaxy, something older than them all was waking something that watched Vera with interest. Because the war wasn't over, it was just beginning. Elias stood at the edge of the ship's viewing deck, staring into the dark space beyond. The stars were quiet, for now. The Echo Core message had reached across the galaxy. Millions had seen the truth about the Concord. Protests had begun. Old alliances were breaking. New voices were rising. But not all was victory. We hurt them, Elias said quietly, but we didn't stop them. Behind him, Vera stepped forward. Long silver robes shimmered in the ship's light. She looked tired but strong. They're still hunting us, she said. Elias nodded. We need a new plan. No, she replied. We need a new kind of war. A few days later, they arrived at an asteroid base hidden in the Kelteron belt. It was not on any maps. It's built into the rock, powered by stolen reactors, and protected by old shellacked H technology. It was home to something the galaxy thought no longer existed, a true resistance. Inside the base were humans, aliens, machines, and even shellacked H hybrids. All outcasts, all survivors, all ready to fight. Their leader was an old man named Baron Rayla, former Concord general who vanished 10 years ago when he saw Vera enter the room. He stood slowly. The Princess of Solari walks into my tomb, he said. Did the stars finally whisper to you? I didn't come to whisper, Vera said. I came to burn. Barn showed them the plans. We have cells in 12 systems, he explained. Small fleets, smugglers, former soldiers. But we don't have unity. Not yet. Elias stepped forward. You will. That message we sent wasn't the end. Was a spark. But sparks die, Baron said. Not this one, Elias replied. Because now it has a face, a human, and a princess. Berea lifted her hand. The ship's core lit up. The Echo Core had changed. It was learning, growing, gathering more hidden truths from deep systems across the galaxy. The truth is a weapon, she said, and it's only getting stronger. Over the next few weeks, they trained. Virea returned to her old form tall, glowing eyes bright like twin moons. She stopped hiding. Elias led ground units training soldiers from different worlds. They teaching them to fight as one. They were different, yes. But they had something in common now. They had hope. Sometimes, at night, Elias would sit alone and think about Earth, his family, his old life. Do you miss it? Virea asked once, sitting beside him. Sometimes, he said. But I think this is where I was always meant to be. She smiled softly with me, with the truth. Her hand rested gently in his. Then came the signal, a message. From a rebel spy inside the Concord Council, they were planning something. Full assault on Earth, to punish the humans for Elias's betrayal, to make an example. Elias felt the blood freeze in his chest. No, he said. They can't. They can, Baron replied. And they will. Virea looked at Elias. We won't let them. Elias stood. We don't wait for them to strike. We go first. Baron frowned. You want to attack the Concord capital? No, Elias said. I want to break it open. The plan was dangerous. Impossible, some said. But not to Elias. Not to Virea. The Concord kept its core data vaults on a massive station called Elena City, in space where all government data, security files, and genetic records were stored. If They could get the Echo Core into the vault and connect it to the Concord's master network. It would send the truth to every world at once. No more blocking, no more denial, just the truth. All of it, every lie the Concord ever told, every crime, every erased voice. Their fleet jumped into Concord space 3 days later, 20 ships mostly stolen, mostly broken. But every single one was ready to die. They hit the outer defense lines. Hard, quick strikes, EMP blasts. Holographic decoys. Inside the chaos, Elias and Virez's small stealth ship broke through. They flew through enemy fire, dodging missiles and war cruisers. Elias piloted like a madman. Virez sat beside him, holding the core. Finally, they reached the vault station. They landed, and the final battle began. The halls of the vault station were silver and silent, too clean, too cold. Elias and Vera ran through corridors while alarms screamed. Security bots tried to stop them. Elias shot fast and clean, 1 blast per bot. No wasted motion. They reached the central chamber, a giant data tower filled with floating memory orbs and glowing code streams, and they're standing in front of the master console with someone waiting. A Concord High Chancellor, not human. Alien. A creature of pure logic, wearing a mask of golden light. You should not be here, it said. We're here to end this, Vera replied. There is no end. Only order, and let chaos speak, Elias growled. He ran forward and jammed the Echo Core into the console. It lit up the entire tower. The station shook. Data spilled out like waterfalls. Truth rushed into every channel, and the Chancellor screamed outside. The rebel fleet was losing. One by one. Ships were falling, but then the message spread to Earth, to Mars, to Solari, to every system, and the people saw, they saw everything, and they rose rebel. Fleets hidden for years jumped into the fight. Concord ships turned on their masters. The station above began to break, but inside, Elias and Vera stood still, watching. As the lights of truth spread across the galaxy, the war had begun. But so had something else. A new future. They escaped just before the vault station exploded. Their ship barely made it to jump range. Inside, burned and bruised, Elias leaned back. In his seat. We did it, he whispered. Virez smiled. No, she said. We started it. Months passed, the galaxy changed. The Concord lost its power. Piece by piece, a council of worlds was formed, one with humans, Solari, Shalakth, and more. Virez became one of its first voices, but she never forgot the war, and she never forgot Elias. They lived aboard a ship of peace, now named the First Night. After the beginning of their strange journey, every time Vera looked at Elias, she remembered that moment when she first showed him her true form, and how he didn't run, didn't scream, didn't betray her. He just said, "Okay, so what do we do now?" That's why he was her husband and her hero. On a quiet night, far above a calm world, Elias stood at the viewing deck once more. Stars above, peace below. Vera joined him. He looked at her and smiled. "Still glad you married me?" he asked. She laughed softly. "You saved me," she whispered. "Not just my life, my voice, my people, my world. And you saved mine," he said. She leaned in close, and under the starlight where truth had once been hidden, they kissed, and this time, no one was watching, just the stars, just them, just peace.